Happy Monday, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Cavlin here with a look at your forecast. We get you through the rest of the day. Just an isolated shower chance, and that's really going to be the name of the game here the next few days as any moisture really stays to our east and also stays to our north. So can't totally rule out the chance to see a shower, but all in all, the chances are going to be very low through the day on Wednesday. We stay warm as well. Normal high temperature this time of year in the mid 80s. We will be running in the 90s every single day. Lower 90s, but still much warmer than where we should be for this time of the year. We do have some changes, though, on the way by the end of the week. So by Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, there will be a push of drier air. So temperatures don't really drop, but with lower humidity, you will notice cooler overnight temperatures. So the afternoons still get to about 90 degrees. With tons of sunshine, though, and no humidity, it's going to feel really nice. And again, those evenings and mornings are going to be superb with temperatures dropping down into the 60s. Here's another sign of the seasons changing, and that's the loss of daylight. So even if the temperatures aren't really feeling fall-like, it's certainly starting to look that way. And tonight will be our last 7 p.m. sunset of the year. We don't see another one until 2026, and really we lose a lot of daylight in the next few weeks. We will go from a 7 p.m. sunset tonight to 6:50 p.m. in about a week and a half, down to a 6:30 sunset by the end of the month. And then look what happens just 2 days later. November 2nd, the clocks go back. Our sunset goes to 5:30. So between today and November 2nd, less than a month, we see our sunset go from 7 p.m. to 5:30, so a big drop there as we go through the next few weeks. All right, radar has been pretty quiet so far today, just a couple of stray showers down at the coast. The bulk of the moisture, though, is to the east. The reason why we are staying quiet is because, as we switch over to the water vapor satellite, this kind of tells a better story. The copper color there that kind of jumps off the map, that indicates drier air in the mid-level of the atmosphere. And so when you have that in place, it's a little more difficult for showers and storms to get going. So that's been overhead the last few days. It is starting to erode away a little bit, so I do think we'll see maybe a couple of isolated shower chances. That's going to be it, though, as we head through the middle of the week. So for today, sunshine, couple clouds, a stray shower chance. That's mainly it. Tomorrow, a front will start to move into North Texas. That'll bring us a partly cloudy sky, maybe a couple of showers, but it does kind of slide to the east, at least for Wednesday. And so we stay mainly dry, again with a mix of sun and clouds, but I think by Thursday that front will actually back into our area, and that's where the drop in humidity will come from. Temperatures right now as of 12:30, mid 80s in the city, got a couple of upper 80s out there as well. Very warm here across the state, mid to upper 80s for pretty much everyone. Check out Amarillo, though, at 62 degrees. So there's the front that I just showed you, and it is bringing in some cooler air. Watch what happens on Future Track as we go through the next few days. As that front pushes south, it will eventually wipe away some of the more extreme temperatures. And by Thursday morning, 60s from Lufkin to Austin, Dallas, Abilene. I think that our northern suburbs will drop into the mid 60s as well by Thursday morning. And even in the city, we could get below 70 degrees. And as that cooler air continues to filter in for the end of the week, the overnight temperatures will keep dropping. So here's Future Track. Check it out for the rest of the afternoon. Again, just a 20% chance for a stray shower. That's about it. Tomorrow morning, we start you off with partly cloudy skies. Through the afternoon, again, maybe a 20% chance again. I don't think it's a thunder and lightning threat. I think it's just a quick moving shower chance. And then that's all gone as we get towards the evening hours. And that's pretty much what we're going to do for the day on Wednesday as well. So looking ahead, do we see any fall fronts on the way? Not really, at least through the 16th. It looks like temperatures are going to be warm, and so we stay at or just above the average. And that's from coast all the way up towards the U.S.-Canada border. Any cooler weather is going to be stuck across the west coast. But typically what happens is when you get cooler air building across the west coast, it eventually does make its way here. The question just becomes a matter of when, especially as we get towards the middle of the month. So even though the daytime highs stay warm, the overnight temperatures I do think will take a drop, and that comes in with that drop in humidity that I was just talking about. So tonight into tomorrow, low 70s. I think we'll do mid 70s. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And then by Thursday morning, we drop to the upper 60s, and then we stay in the mid to upper 60s here through the weekend into the start of next week. So there's our humidity drop that I was talking about. Even if those high temperatures stay steady, it's the overnight temperatures They may not feel a little more fall-like, but we'll feel a little more comfortable. Again, once that front comes through, big push of dry air arrives, I think especially for Friday and Saturday. Notice the core of that dry air Thursday morning is still to our north. I do think that'll filter in as we get into the end of the week and the weekend. So definitely some more comfortable weather on the way as we go through the next few days. All in all, though, things aren't going to be too bad for us. Even the next 2 days, humidity's high, yeah, but we're still looking at a lot of sunshine. Temperatures in the low 90s, but nothing extreme. But as we get towards Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, really, really nice setup. Temperatures near 90 for the afternoon with low humidity, a nice breeze, and tons of sunshine coming in. Not fall-like, but we'll take what we can get. In the tropics, we're watching this area here, this tropical wave out in the middle of the Atlantic, 70% chance of developing as we go through the next 7 days. They have tagged this as Invest 95L. So as of this morning, winds are at 30 miles an hour. It's still not well organized, and so we're not at the point of it becoming a tropical depression or a tropical storm quite yet. This thing is racing to the west as well at about 25 miles per hour. Going ahead to the next few days, the general consensus is that this will take more of a northwesterly track and then pass to the north of the Leeward Islands here. There's a couple model members that may try to take this into the Caribbean. I just don't see it happening. I think we are going to go on this northwest track and then eventually go north or out to sea altogether. Here's what one of our models does. I think this is the European model, and watch this. Yeah, by the middle of the end of the week, we may get some development here, but watch, as we get towards the end of the week, it just kind of falls apart, kind of washes out. So we're not really set on whether or not this becomes a big storm, but I think there's a really good agreement that if this turns into anything, it kind of, again, gets absorbed into that northward flow and moves away from the United States. So no threats on the horizon for us. Now, typically during the month of October, the hotspot for tropical activity focuses a little more towards the Caribbean and then up the eastern seaboard. And the reason for that is because we get more fall fronts. And as these fall fronts come in, they push the jet stream farther south. So again, here's our key area for development during the fall. Well, if you've got the jet stream that far south and these cold fronts coming off the east coast, that literally takes any forming storms and pushes them out to sea. And so U.S. landfalls become less likely as we get deeper into October and then eventually into November. Doesn't mean they're unlikely or impossible altogether, but it definitely means that our likelihood and our frequency of seeing landfalls drops quite a bit as we get deeper into the next few months. Doing any traveling for tomorrow, weather looks great across the Northeast. Mid-80s through the Great Lakes. We'll do low 80s up and down the 95 corridor from Maine down through Virginia. Across the Southeast, a little more unsettled showers and storms possible here across the Mississippi Valley from New Orleans up through Little Rock and Memphis. Down towards Florida, showers and storms as well. Temperatures in the 70s and the 80s. Across Texas, mid-70s for Amarillo behind that front. Weather looks really nice. Otherwise, though, upper 80s, low 90s for everyone else. Mid-80s up towards Kansas City with a storm chance. That'll continue up into Omaha, but a lot cooler behind this powerful front. 50s from the Dakotas down through Kansas into Nebraska. Ahead of the front, though, showers and storms from Chicago down through Springfield. Across the West Coast, weather looks beautiful. Low 70s, sunshine for LA, beautiful for San Francisco, mid-80s. Hot in Phoenix, mid-90s, cool up towards Denver with a shower chance in the 50s. Salt Lake looks gorgeous at 60 degrees. More beautiful weather here for the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures ranging from the 70s and 80s at the coast to the 50s and 60s through the Intermountain West. All right, back here at home, your 7-day forecast looks like this. Just isolated shower chances for today, for tomorrow, and for Wednesday as well, with high temperatures in the lower 90s. Our humidity drop comes in by Thursday, so our overnight temperatures go from the 70s into the 60s, and that weather will stick around all the way through Friday into the weekend, with those overnight lows dropping down into the mid-60s. That's a look at your forecast here at home on KHOU 11+. Coming up, we'll have an update on what's going on in the tropics and, of course, with your weather here at home on the KHOU 11 News at 4 o'clock. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.